Contents. Preamble, page 4. Scope, page 4. Training, page 4. Traffic Controller's Authority, page 5. Traffic Controller's Responsibilities, page 5. Application, page 6. Dress, page 7. Stop/slowbat, page 9. Control of approach speed, page 9. The law and the traffic controller, page 10. Controlling traffic, page 11. Signs, page 15. Locating the traffic controller, page 17. Advanced signing on curves and crests, page 23. Railway crossings, page 23. Behavior and attitude, page 26. Safety, page 26. Reduce visibility, page 28. Use of radio, page 28. Supervisor's responsibility, page 29. Controlling traffic at night, page 30. Response to crashes at the worksite, page 31. Traffic control in emergency situations, page 31. Conclusion, page 32. Annexes. Road Safety Road Rules 2009, page 32. Summary of Traffic Controller Instructions, page 33. Key Points, page 34. Traffic Controller Restrictions, page 34. Report by Traffic Controller, page 35. Important. Before undertaking the tasks of a traffic controller on a public road, a person must successfully complete an accredited traffic controller's training program. A valid traffic controller's statement of attainment indicating accreditation details must be carried at all times when operating as a traffic controller. Upon request, the traffic controller statement of attainment must be presented to any police officer, WorkSafe officer, VicRoads officer, municipal council authorized officer, or the person in charge of a worksite or their delegate. Preamble. 1. Roads with worksites are particularly hazardous in comparison to a road operating under normal conditions. Traffic controllers are used when signs and devices for works are considered insufficient to provide for personal safety, public convenience, and efficient control and management of traffic around the worksite. Scope. 2. This handbook details the procedures to be followed and the equipment required by traffic controllers to control the flow of traffic. The use of traffic signals, other control devices, and control at intersections are not covered in this handbook. 3. This handbook is based on a Victorian Worksite Safety, Traffic Management Code of Practice, and Australian Standard 1742.3. 2009. Traffic Control Devices for Works on Roads. Training. 4. Traffic controllers are be appropriately trained in their duties and certified as competent. All accredited traffic controllers at work sites on roads in Victoria should comply with the guidelines contained in this handbook. 5. All traffic controllers are required to obtain a valid statement of attainment in traffic control using stop/slowbat and should attend an appropriate refresher course every 3 years. Traffic Controllers Authority. 6. Accredited traffic controllers have the authority to A. Legally stop or slow traffic using a stop/slowbat. B. Use hand signals to advise traffic in conjunction with the stop/slowbat. And C. Report to the supervisor motorists who fail to follow reasonable directions. Traffic controllers' responsibilities. 7. Accredited traffic controllers have the following responsibilities. A. Safety of the traffic controller self. B. Safety of fellow workers. C. Safety of motorists and other road users. D. Enabling works at the site to be conducted safely by minimizing the risk associated with traffic movement. E. Controlling traffic in a professional manner to enable drivers to negotiate through, past, or around the worksite safely. F. Ensuring that indication given to the traffic is consistent with the display provided by the traffic signals. G. Maintaining traffic control in emergencies and other difficult situations. And H. Minimizing delays to traffic. Application. 8. When required by the volume of traffic or the conditions at the worksite, the supervisor may arrange for traffic controllers to control the movement of traffic in the following situations. A. On bituminous surfacing works being carried out under traffic. B. Where one lane of a two-lane two-way road or bridge is closed unless traffic signal control is used. C. Where any of the conditions for the creation of worksite speed limits exist, but such speed limits are not being adhered to. D. Where blasting works are being carried out on or adjacent to traffic roads. E. Where construction machinery regularly crosses or enters an existing road. F. Where sight distance to the worksite is limited. G. In emergencies. And H. Where signs and devices direct a motorist to disobey a law in any of the above circumstances. 9. When considering the volume of traffic, the following factors must be taken into account. A. Safety of the workers at the site. B. Safety of the public at the site. C. The duration of work. D. Site conditions and layout. And E. Personnel available. Dress. 10. It is essential for safety that the traffic controller wears appropriate high visibility clothing at all times while on traffic controller duty. Such high visibility clothing is designed to make personnel more conspicuous and to warn road users of their presence. 11. In daytime applications, a fluorescent red or orange high visibility garment complying with AS/NGS 4602 is required. The garment should be correctly fastened at the front at all times and should be clean and in good condition. The garment should display information to identify the organization to which the controller belongs. A fluorescent red or orange cap or hat may also be worn, though it is not required. 12. Fluorescent material alone does not give adequate conspicuity for night use. A garment meeting or exceeding the requirement of AS/NGS 4602 for night use must be worn for night applications. 13. High visibility garments are required to have an information tag which details whether they are suitable for day use, night use, or both day and night use. Traffic controllers are advised to check the tag on their high visibility garment before use to ensure it is the correct type for the application. 14. In wet conditions, the wearing of wet weather clothing should not obscure the high visibility garment requirements set out above. 15. Safety footwear conforming to Australian standards should be worn at all times by traffic controllers. 16. VicTrack guidelines require that workers working the rail reserve or rail corridor must wear the industry-specific orange color on their high visibility garments. This color is not quite the same as red or orange, which is commonly used for the workers on roads. 17. When working more than 3 meters from a rail line, traffic controllers may wear garments comply with AS/NGS 4602. Stop/slow bat. 18. The stop/slow bat is a double-sided handheld sign with a stop banner, R68, on one side and a slow banner, T71, on the other. The banner size must be 450 or 600 millimeters in diameter. The stop banner comprises a white Class 1 retroreflective legend and border with a red Class 1 retroreflective background. The slow banner has a black legend and border with a yellow Class 1 retroreflective background. The banner faces are shown below. 19. Traffic control bats should be clean and in good repair. Damaged or defaced banners or bats should be repaired or replaced promptly. Control of approach speed. 20. Except in emergency situations, the approach speed of traffic in advance of the traffic controller's position must be no more than 60 kilometers per hour. The law and the traffic controller. 21. The traffic controller has no power at law. The legal authority does not rest with the person, but with the stop sign when it is displayed to drivers. 22. While engaged in construction or maintenance work and when operating a stop/slow bat, the traffic controller is empowered to stop vehicles by displaying a stop sign. The driver is required to stop the vehicle before reaching the sign and as near as practicable to the sign. The driver must not proceed beyond the sign while it is displayed in the driver's direction. The law in this regard only applies to the stop sign, which is regulatory in nature, and not to the slow sign, which is an advisory sign and only used for guidance. 23. Under Victorian law, traffic controllers have no authority to control or direct traffic by hand signals alone or by giving oral instructions to vehicle drivers. The control method is use of the stop sign. Hand signals by the traffic controller only enhance the use of the stop/slow bat. 24. If an offense occurs, such as a vehicle failing to stop after a traffic controller has displayed the stop sign, the controller should not attempt to stop the vehicle. The traffic controller should immediately attempt to warn the workers ahead, and then if possible write down the registration number, body type, color, and make of the vehicle, the time, date, and location of offense, and pass this on to the supervisor. The supervisor is required to pass on the information without delay directly to the Victoria Police for processing. 25. A typical reporting form is available in this handbook and should be carried by traffic controllers during operations. Controlling traffic. 26. There are 4 important conditions that must be in place prior to the traffic controller commencing work with the stop/slow bat. The maximum speed allowable for approaching traffic is 60 kilometers per hour. The traffic controller must have an escape path. The traffic controller should be separated from the work site by 30 meters or more. The traffic controller must have a sight distance to the approaching traffic of more than 1.5 times the approach speed of the traffic to enable adequate braking distance for the slowing traffic. For example, if approach speeds are 80 kilometers per hour, then the traffic controller should be able to see 120 meters along the road. 27. Prior to stopping traffic, the traffic controller should stand on the curb or shoulder, clear the travel path. It may not always be possible to have in view the work site due to site conditions, but the traffic controller must be in clear view of the oncoming traffic. 28. To stop traffic, the traffic controller should watch for a suitable gap in the traffic. The stop bat should then be extended high over the carriageway at an angle of approximately 45 degrees, so that the stop banner is facing approaching traffic. After ensuring all traffic has stopped, and with the bat extended and stop banner clearly visible to approaching traffic, the traffic controller may step onto the carriageway and walk confidently to a position in front of the driver with the palm of the free hand indicating the stop gesture. Refer to Figure 1. 29. The traffic controller should maintain a vigilant watch of the traffic, but not take any posture that could be construed as intimidating or distracting. 30. If the traffic controller has stopped a large vehicle and visibility to approaching traffic is obscured, the traffic controller should project the stop/slow bat out past the stationary vehicle for other drivers to see as they slow to a stop. 31. At the conclusion of the stop period, to allow traffic to proceed, the traffic controller must check that the road ahead is clear, move over the side of the road, then turn the bat to display the slow banner to the traffic, and with the free hand give the TO go gesture with a deliberate motion across the body. Refer to Figure 2. TDS script, page 13. Figure 1, TO stop. Figure 2, TO go. Figure 3, TO slow. 32. To slow traffic, the traffic controller should display the slow banner of the bat, face the traffic, extend the free arm, and give the TO slow gesture. Refer to Figure 33. When in use, the stop/slow bat should be held so that the sign is clearly visible to approaching traffic. 34. The key instructions to remember when controlling traffic are: A. Be visible to the road user. B. Do not stand on the carriageway until approaching traffic has stopped. C. Do not turn your back to traffic. D. Give clear instructions to road users. And E. Always have a clear escape path. 35. Traffic controllers should be relieved from duty after not more than 2 hours for a period of rest or other duties of at least 15 minutes. Note, model instructions for the establishment of manual traffic control and for the training of a traffic controller are detailed in Appendix C of AS 1742.3-2009. Signs. 36. Worksite signing must be placed in accordance with the Traffic Management Plan, which should comply with the Victorian Worksite Safety, Traffic Management Code of Practice, and Australian Standard 1742.3. 2009. Traffic Control Devices for Works on Roads. 37. The Traffic Controller Symbolic, T134, sign, and the Prepare to Stop, T118. Sign must be in place facing approaching traffic while traffic control is underway. Figure 4 on page 16 shows a format for a typical advance signing for a traffic controller. 38. It is the responsibility of the traffic controller to ensure these signs are in place while controlling traffic and are removed immediately after traffic control has finished. 39. The positioning of the signs will vary depending on the traffic approach speed and must comply with the Traffic Management Plan, TMP. 40. For heavily trafficked or multi-lane roads, Signs must be placed on both sides of the carriageway. 41. The symbolic traffic controller sign must be a black symbol on a fluorescent orange background. The prepare to stop sign must be a white legend on a red background. All signs must be Class 1 retroreflective. Figure 4. Advanced signing for traffic controller. This diagram shows the layout of advanced signing when a traffic controller is in place. The traffic controller is positioned with a minimum of 30 meters separation from the work area. Further back, as per the traffic management plan, the prepare to stop sign and roadwork sign are displayed. Note, the traffic management plan, TMP, may require additional signs. Locating the traffic controller. 42. The traffic controller should be positioned approximately 30 meters in advance of the work area. The distance should be sufficient to separate the controller from the works, but also allow the controller to converse with the workers regarding traffic flow requirements. If a vehicle proceeds beyond the stop sign, there should be some additional space for it to stop before the work area. 43. The traffic controller should stand facing the traffic from a position outside the travel path, so that approaching traffic can see the controller from at least 1.5 times the approach speed of the traffic. 44. Where sight distance is limited and or traffic volumes are high, it may be necessary to use a second controller in advance of the traffic control position to slow down or stop traffic approaching the end of the queue. 45. Where multiple traffic controllers are employed and they do not have line of sight to each other, radio contact or an intermediate communicator must be used. 46. Traffic controllers must always stand in a position so that a clear escape path is available. Traffic controllers should never turn their backs to traffic. 47. When traffic is stopped under a stop banner instruction, the traffic controller may change position so as to be clearly visible to traffic further along the approach road. The traffic controller should, however, always stay at the head of the traffic queue and not permit other persons to gather at his or her position. The traffic controller must be mindful to ensure a clear escape is available for any new position assumed. 48. The traffic controller should not obstruct road users' view of signs, nor should they be obscured by signs when viewed by approaching traffic. 49. The visibility of a traffic controller to motorists can be affected by the position of the sun, the background conditions including lighting, the location of the controller in shade or darkened areas, or by oncoming headlight illumination. These factors should be considered when positioning a traffic controller. 50. For spray bituminous surfacing works, the location of the traffic controller may be varied to suit the different traffic flows that often develop in this operation. Prior to work commencing, it is essential that the traffic controller and the supervisor decide the appropriate location and procedures for this operation. 51. The following diagrams illustrate the use of one traffic controller and two traffic controllers under various traffic conditions. Figure 5A and 5B, using one traffic controller. The left diagram shows a situation with no approaching traffic. The traffic controller is holding the slow bat, and the instruction reads, "Allow traffic in obstructed lane to proceed after checking travel path is clear." The right diagram shows a situation where traffic approaching has right of way at all times. The traffic controller is holding the stop bat, and the instruction reads, "Stop traffic in obstructed lane." Figure 5C, using one traffic controller. This diagram shows a step-by-step procedure when using one traffic controller. Step 1. Traffic is passed. Step 2. Confirm no approaching traffic. Step 3. Traffic clear to proceed after checking travel path is clear. The traffic controller is shown holding the slow bat on the left side of the road, next to the work area. Figure 6A, using two traffic controllers. The controller displaying slow has control of the site. Make sure other bat is on stop, and that travel path is clear before allowing traffic to proceed. Figure 6B, using two traffic controllers. 1. Turn to stop when last vehicle in obstructed lane has passed or there is a gap in traffic. 2. Traffic has passed. 3. This traffic controller then turns bat from stop to slow after confirming other bat on stop. 4. Traffic clear to proceed. Advanced signing on curves and crests. 52. Sight and stopping distance are important near crests or curves where an approaching vehicle does not have adequate advance warning of the approaching works to safely stop at the end of the queue. 53. Traffic controllers should stand where they can see both ends of the work area and must be able to see approaching vehicles for a distance of at least 1.5 times the speed limit in meters. For example, if the speed limit is 60 kilometers per hour, the traffic controller should be able to see at least 90 meters. 54. If the sight distance is inadequate before approaching the work site, consideration should be given to A. Lowering the speed limit, or B. Erecting additional advance warning signs, or C. Using an additional traffic controller at the end of the queue. Railway crossings. 55. Railway crossings differ from road intersections, as trains always have the right of way and are unable to stop quickly. Therefore, special care must be taken when directing traffic in locations adjacent to railway crossings. 56. Generally, drivers will follow direction from traffic controllers when they contradict other signals, signs, or control devices on the road. Special care must be taken at railway crossings to ensure that traffic is not directed through flashing railway crossing signals, that traffic queues do not extend across railway crossings, and that traffic is not directed through stop or give way signs requiring vehicles to stop or give way to approaching trains. 57. No work within 3 meters of a railway crossing may be undertaken without prior approval from the relevant rail authority, except in an emergency, in which case notification should be provided to the rail authority as early as reasonably practical. All works at rail crossings must be undertaken with a rail-safe supervisor present to monitor and manage the rail crossing and rail movements. 58. Where a railway crossing exists within a section of road being controlled by a traffic controller, a flag person accredited by the relevant rail authority must be stationed at the traffic stop line of the railway crossing, or at least 3 meters from the nearest rail. The flag person must be equipped with a two-way radio to watch for trains and advise the other traffic controllers to stop traffic in time for train movements through the crossing. The flag person must also be an accredited traffic controller. 59. If the section of road under traffic control is near, but not traversing the railway crossing, within the distances in the following table, a flag person must be stationed at the railway crossing. The flag person must be located on the same side of the crossing as the works and related traffic control at the traffic stop line, or at least 3 meters from the nearest rail. The table shows speed limit less than 70 kilometers per hour, 150 meters. 70 to 90 kilometers per hour, 200 meters. Greater than 90 kilometers per hour, 300 meters. 60. Traffic controller stationed at railway crossings are required to be equipped with a handheld stop/slow bat, which has the rear slow banner covered. This is to prevent vehicles approaching the railway crossing from the opposite direction, following the slow instruction and ignoring other signs or flashing signals. 61. Traffic controllers must ensure that stopped vehicles do not queue back over a railway crossing. If there is a chance of this happening, vehicles must be stopped on the approach to the railway crossing. 62. Traffic controllers and all other personnel working within 10 meters of any railway crossing must wear a high visibility garment that complies with AS/NGS 1906.4 and AS/NGS 4602. Behavior and attitude. 63. Only personnel who can reasonably deal with the traveling public should be selected as traffic controllers. They should have a sound temperament and not allow themselves to be provoked by members of the public. By exercising restraint, they will gain more respect. 64. Correct appearance, behavior, and attitude are essential so that motorists will recognize traffic controllers as a form of authority and will react accordingly. 65. A disinterested controller with a slovenly appearance and manner will create a bad impression to the traveling public. Traffic controllers must not attempt to control traffic while seated and should hold the traffic bat erect and not hold it upside down while giving hand signals. Traffic controllers must ensure that the signing on the approach to the job gives a timely and accurate warning of the situation facing drivers. If this is not the case, drivers may ignore the controller, putting themselves and workers at greater risk. Safety. 66. The traffic controller is required to be alert while acting in an official capacity, in addition to looking after their own safety and that of the road workers in a hazardous environment. Traffic controllers have the responsibility of ensuring the safety of the traveling public, including pedestrians through or around the works area. 67. For these reasons, only competent persons should be appointed as traffic controllers. 68. A potential hazard confronting the traffic controller is a vehicle that fails to stop or fails to slow down. Interpretation of the slow sign means many things to different motorists, and traffic controllers should not assume that motorists will reduce their speed to a speed consistent with the level of safety desired at the worksite. 69. Caution should also be exercised when standing close to the path traveled by vehicles, as protruding loads can present a hazard, especially if part of the load on the vehicle has moved without the driver's knowledge. 70. The traffic controller should remain standing at all times while carrying out their duties. This ensures the traffic controller is not unduly restricted if there is a need for evasive action. 71. Traffic controllers should be mindful to never turn their backs to traffic and to always maintain an escape path. Reduced visibility. 72. Traffic controllers and supervisors should be aware of the dangers faced by road workers as a result of reduced visibility. Reduced visibility on roads can be caused by dust, heavy rain, fog, or smoke. At 60 kilometers per hour, the stopping distance for an average car is 90 meters, assuming level road and reasonable pavement. In situations where visibility is reduced to less than these distances, additional care must be taken by traffic controllers to ensure the safety of themselves and road users. 73. Where supervisors have a degree of control over the cause of reduced visibility, such as site-generated dust or burn-off, appropriate steps should be taken to avoid the creation of a hazard, or to control the hazard to ensure the safety of road workers. Where there are factors outside the control of the supervisor, such as fog, heavy rain, or bushfires, the supervisor should review the need for the work to be started or continued until visibility conditions have improved. Use of radio. 74. Situations can arise at work sites where traffic controllers may need to use radios to ensure adequate communication over long work lengths, or due to limited site distances. 75. If the work is to occur over a long period of time, the capacity of the battery in the radio should be carefully monitored. When using handheld radios, traffic controllers should ensure that the standard of hand signals in support of the stop/slow bat is not adversely affected. 76. A neck or shoulder strap attached to the radio should be used to maintain a free hand for signaling. 77. It is not recommended to use two-way radios operating on CB, citizen band, frequencies, as interruptions or interference may be caused by other operators using the same frequency. Supervisor's responsibility. 78. Supervisory personnel on works requiring a traffic guidance scheme should ensure that signs and devices do not direct the traveling public to disobey a law unless a traffic controller is present to direct traffic. 79. Supervisors should ensure that traffic controllers are courteous to the traveling public. They should also ensure that the personnel assigned to place, maintain, and remove signs and devices are aware of their responsibilities, and that traffic controllers are informed of their duties. 80. Where lengthy delays are caused by works or plant breakdown, the supervisor should inform the traffic controller of the delay and give an estimated time to be relayed to the public. Controlling traffic at night. 81. Under dry conditions, traffic controllers ought to wear a day or night high visibility garment conforming to the specifications of AS/NZS 4602. Where additional conspicuity is required, white combination overalls fitted with silver retroreflective material should be worn. In wet conditions, wet weather clothing should not obscure the high visibility garment required above to ensure conspicuity of the traffic controller. 82. Methods of the use of a luminous wand for nighttime traffic control are shown in Figure 7. Figure 7. Use of luminous wand for nighttime traffic control. Response to crashes at the worksite. 83. In the event of a crash occurring at the worksite, the traffic controller's primary responsibility is to maintain control of the traffic for protection of the workers and the public. 84. Assistance to those involved should be provided, while steps are taken to notify appropriate emergency authorities, such as police, ambulance, and fire brigade. Names and addresses of witnesses should be obtained when it is safe to do so. Traffic control in emergency situations. 85. In situations where the works are due to an emergency, that is, the works are required due to risks to public health and safety, the worksite initial setup should be in accordance with a generic traffic management plan, TMP, or safe operating procedure, SOP, as best meets the requirements of the situation. 86. During initial setup, some signs, including advanced signs or speed reduction signs, may not be possible to deploy due to the emergency situation. If the emergency situation continues and traffic control operates more than 2 hours, then all advanced signs and devices must be in place. 87. The supervisor responsible for traffic management at the emergency or incident location must notify the relevant road authority as soon as possible. Conclusion. 88. Adherence to the procedures outlined in this handbook should ensure safe and efficient control of traffic by traffic controllers using the stop/slow bat. The aim and responsibility of the traffic controller is to ensure the safety of all workers and road users while allowing works to proceed, and at the same time minimizing the delays to traffic. 89. The instructions in this handbook are a guide to the responsibilities, appropriate dress, and behavior of traffic controllers. However, following the instructions in this handbook alone are not sufficient to allow a person to safely control traffic. Any person who undertakes traffic control must first complete a traffic controller's course and carry a valid traffic controller statement of attainment. Annexes. Road Safety Road Rules 2009. 101. Handheld stop signs. 1. A driver approaching a handheld stop sign must stop before reaching the sign. Penalty. In the case of a bicycle, 5 penalty units. In the case of any other vehicles, 10 penalty units. 2. The driver must not proceed until the holder of the sign, A, no longer displays the sign towards the driver, or B, otherwise indicates that the driver may proceed. Penalty. In the case of a bicycle, 5 penalty units. In the case of any other vehicle, 10 penalty units. 3. This rule does not apply to a driver approaching or at a handheld stop sign at a children's crossing. Note, Rule 80 defines children's crossing and deals with handheld stop signs at children's crossings. Summary of traffic controller instructions. Stand on the curb or road shoulder with a clear view of the approaching traffic and, if possible, a view of the worksite. Wait for a suitable break in traffic before attempting to stop vehicles. When a suitable break is found, extend the bat across the carriageway at an angle of 45 degrees, with a stop banner facing the approaching traffic, as well as using the stop hand signal. When approaching traffic is stopped, and if required, move from the curb or road shoulder to the center of the carriageway with the bat still extended 45 degrees. When it is clear to move the traffic on, the traffic controller should walk off the carriageway the same way as they walked on. When safely back on the curb or road shoulder, turn the bat so that the slow banner is facing the vehicle queue and indicate to the first driver to proceed using TO Go motion hand signal. Key points. At all times, the traffic controller should A. Be more than 30 meters from the worksite. B. Be visible to the road user. C. Not move onto the carriageway until approaching traffic is stopped. D. Not turn their back to traffic. E. Give clear instructions to road users. And F. Always have a clear escape path. Traffic controller restrictions. The traffic controller must not A. Work where approach speeds of traffic are more than 60 kilometers per hour. B. Give hand signals without the stop/slow bat. C. Give oral instructions to motorists. D. Demand motorist names and addresses. E. Direct motorists through red traffic lights. Where there's a need, control tram traffic. The tram operator must be advised. At railway-level crossings, workers must not work within 3 meters of the nearest rail unless under the direction of a person from the railsafe supervisor. Report by traffic controller. Registration number. Body type. Body color. Model of vehicle. Offense. Time. Date. Location. Direction of travel. Weather conditions. Remarks. Controller print name. Controller signature. Date of report. Region or project. Patrol gang. This report may be submitted to Victoria Police. For further information, please phone 13 1171 or visit vicroads.vic.gov.o. Keeping Victorians connected. Guideline for traffic controllers. Keeping Victorians connected